There are two kinds of people in the world, my friend. Those with a rope around their neck and the people who have the job of doing the cutting. Listen, the neck at the end of the rope is mine. I run the risks.
Desert Sky Spine and Pain brings to you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Desert Sky Spine and Pain, where they're focused on your function.
Two can dig a lot quicker than one.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, presented by Desert Sky Spine and Pain. Desert Sky Spine and Pain, their providers and staff, they help patients throughout Arizona suffering from back or neck pain, migraines, hip pain, knee pain, and more. Check them out at desertskymedicine.com. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started, Ali. My good is Arizona baseball, Arizona softball. These two teams right now are combined 47-10.
Wow.
47-10 between these two. Arizona baseball, they started off the season 0-3 in Dallas. And people were like, oh, man, is this team, are they going to be legitimate this year? Well, they answered with a win over number 1 Texas A&M in Houston. And since starting off the season 0-3, they are 18-2, Ali. And just over the weekend, they got a big road series win at West Virginia. Their game on Sunday, Mason White, the Tucson guy from South Point Catholic, hit the go-ahead home run late. Arizona, the bats were on fire in that game on Sunday. But it was the game on Friday that went into 16 innings. They won 6-4. But as a team, they recorded 29 strikeouts, which is
that's insane.
A program record, a record that hasn't been set in 85 years. Arizona broke an 85-year record over the weekend. So Chip Hale, Arizona baseball.
Who the heck was pitching 85 years ago?
I know, right?
It was
Popcorn Johnson.
It was probably like one dude that went 15 innings by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, 29 strikeouts. I mean, there's
insane.
26. 3 times 9. 27. There's 27 outs in 9 innings.
Yeah.
All right. So another 6. That's another 18. I mean, it's like, what is that? This 68%.
I don't know.
Outs by strikeout.
That's Scott Steiner math,
yeah,
or whatever that guy's name is, the wrestler. Yeah, man. Arizona baseball is playing so dominant right now, and now they return home where they'll play Seattle U on Wednesday, and then they got Baylor on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's also Little League weekend too. So Arizona baseball, they're doing a lot of great promotions. They're playing their asses off right now. That's my good. Also, I just want to throw in a little good too. We give referees a lot of guff, and rightfully so. There have been some bad calls by Tony Padilla and some other calls about other referees that we've noted in the past. But there's this one referee, I don't even know who he is, but he was on the Liberty Oregon game, and he looked over and saw a Liberty player who doesn't normally play about to check into the game, and there was about 54 seconds left. He actually stopped play for a quote-unquote wet spot on the floor, so he can stop the game, and that guy was able to come in so he could have that memory of playing in the NCAA tournament. And that player averaged 1 point per game in his career at Liberty. Was just a guy, right, on the team. And to have that moment of checking in the NCAA tournament, I think is really special. Obviously, Liberty lost, but for that referee to be like, hold on, I need you to have this memory. Time out. Come on in, son. I think that's really cool.
That is very cool.
So,
did you see that 4'11" guard for Duke that got in at the end of the game?
4'11"?
That's what he looked like. I mean, he literally looked like a
little kid.
He plays at Ficka Junior High. the team really wanted him to shoot, but he didn't do it. But I was like, oh, that's Max from Ficka Junior High. Plays point guard. Sorry.
My bad is Ben Simmons. So you're going to appreciate this. Ben Simmons has made a lot of money playing basketball, right? Somewhat big name in the NBA, was the number 1 overall pick.
If I could correct you, he's made a lot of money not playing basketball.
Yeah, you know what? Touche.
Yeah.
Touche, my friend. But Bronny James, I know, Bronny, Ben Simmons, how did this correlate? So Bronny checked in recently and made a 3-pointer. Bronny now has more career threes in the NBA than Ben Simmons.
That's right.
He's got 6 3-pointers. Ben Simmons has 5.
Bronny played pretty good against Milwaukee, man.
I know.
I know. I mean, he's talk about somebody that it gets so much guff, and he just keeps his head down and just works and plays. You never hear a bad thing out of Bronny James. I don't know why people are so fixated on that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Let him just play, man. It's fine.
And my ugly is Georgia football. because once again, more players have been arrested for reckless driving. The latest wide receiver, and this is very ironic, his name is Nitro Tuggle. The guy who's named Nitro getting arrested for reckless driving. Pretty much over the last couple of years, Georgia football and reckless driving has been a big issue. As a matter of fact, since January of 2023, 24 driving-related arrests have been made for Georgia football players.
That's crazy.
So that's my ugly. Georgia football, the reckless driving, the accidents. It's been just an absolute nightmare for this program. But it's the fact that a guy who's named Nitro, like it's right there in the name, and you recruited him. So
I mean, I think Kirby Smart, the coach. I don't know if you had this at Cienega, but at Sabino, we had a room with all the driving simulators, and then the video playing, right? And if you didn't like, it was very sensitive. If you wanted to get an A, you had to be really, very, very particular about how you did it. I think the whole football team should just go to one of these driving simulator classes. Take driver's ed, maybe less nitro and a little less tuggle on that steering wheel, buddy.
So that's my good, bad, and the ugly.
All right. Excellent job, Justin. My good, I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of I'm going to do a little extra good too. My good, Justin Spears, Andrew Trujillo. Very impressed by the fact of how healthy you guys are eating and getting a little bit of exercise. You guys both look better. Your attitudes are better. You wake up, you come to the studio, you have a better attitude. I think you guys are sleeping better. You're drinking less. Just good job by you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I feel like you're going to go into another good now.
I am. And I said, but my really good is the cats, man. The cats, and specifically Caleb Love. And they still talk about Caleb Love, and Tommy even talked about it last night as well, like what a polarizing figure he is. We're past the polarizing. Caleb Love is now one of my favorite all-time Arizona basketball players, no matter what. And it's not just that he's uber talented. It's not just that he has evolved his game and he's more multidimensional offensively. He's a good defender. He facilitates. He rebounds. The kid has always had a good attitude. He's always been a leader of that team. He's always stayed above the fray and not immersed himself in the negativity. And he has gotten a lot of negativity, and he has transcended beyond that. And that takes a lot of emotional maturity. That takes a lot of fortitude and strength and courage of self. And I just want to say, Caleb Love, you started your career at North Carolina, but nobody's going to remember that. You're, at least in my opinion, one of the most beloved all-time Arizona Wildcat basketball players. Thank you from all Arizona Wildcat fans that are real fans. We appreciate you. And like the Beatles said, all you need is love. And dun, 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 all you need is love. And I can't wait till your number one is put in the rafters at McHale Center, because you earned it, my friend. My bad. One of the greatest basketball coaches that we've got right now is Danny Hurley. But the guy is the biggest baby of all time. And, man, your UConn Huskies played what I think is one of the top two teams in this tournament in Florida. Really tough. You had them. But Florida just, they just grinded it out at the end. And for you to walk out, and the first thing when you get in the tunnel is you look over to the Baylor team and say to them, I hope they don't screw, he used another word, you like they screwed us. Speaking of the referees, it's just, I talked about Caleb Love and emotional maturity. As great a head coach as you are, Danny Hurley, you continuously show a lack of emotional maturity. Not the time, not the place. And that game did not come down to officiating. That game came down to Florida made a few more plays than your tough UConn Huskies. You should have been proud of your UConn Huskies. Two-time national champions, played and not as loaded as you've been the last 2 years, and still played really tough. And I think it kind of demeans your own players when you do that. I don't think that helps anything. So Danny Hurley, come on, you're better than that. My ugly.
Oh, Andrew, pull this up.
I got a 2 for on uglies too while he's pulling it up. For those of you out there, just so that you know, you're not alone. Everybody's bracket sucks right now. So not many people's bracket is good. But here's my real ugly, and it's against a profession that I often comment with Justin about.
Oh man.
A ton. Like, he doesn't start.
That's insulting. Who are these NBA people?
I'm not gonna
I've never seen them. I mean, it's like sources and NBA
other
people.
reporters, other guys that talk, but they were saying they had talked to some NBA
Listen,
people.
People who say that, I'll just say this. A lot of people have answers to tests they've never passed. So I'm a coach. I'm coaching my team. Anybody that thinks I'm holding the kid back is crazy. But you know what? On a team, you have other players. You have other scenarios. And there's this thing called fouls. There's this thing called fatigue. You know, you don't get to coach a team in a vacuum. So, I mean, it's literally makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up when people are saying that, you know what? Because it's coming from a place of ignorance. And it's really disrespectful to say to a coach. To think that I would hide a kid is crazy. So, yeah, on that note, thank you guys.
So the question was asked, a lot of people are assuming you're not playing Henry Vasar as many minutes. You're hiding him on the bench because you don't want him to go to the NBA. You want him to come back.
Yeah.
That was the question.
Yeah. And
which
so
I think is asinine.
That person's name is Lindsay Schnell. And I think she works for The Athletic.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, with all sincerity, and as genuine as I can be about it, you're a buffoon. And just because you're there doesn't mean if you don't have a good question to ask, don't ask. And anybody who starts a question or an answer, but in this case, a question with a lot of people are saying is not a serious person. And I'm glad Tommy Lloyd called her out because you know what? A lot of who's saying it? Oh, some NBA people or no, some reporters are telling me.
Some guy named Draft Doug.
She said some reporters are telling me some NBA guys are saying it. She doesn't even have a direct source. Somebody didn't even tell her. So to think that a coach would, to the detriment of his own team, not play somebody that should be playing and can help them win because they want them to come back another year is one of the most asinine questions. And trust me, I've heard a lot of asinine questions just being on Spears and Ali. Listening to football press conferences. Listening to basketball press conference. Put your hand down, Justin. You asked most of you. Actually, you're good, dude.
Thank you. I think you should talk about our guests here on the show when I talk about food.
No. Well, I mean, you did equate bad officiating somehow with what the NCAA makes you buy for food. I didn't know how you did that earlier in the show. Always comes back to food. But Lizzie Schnell, I mean, like I said, just because you're there, if you don't have a good question to ask, don't ask. And I know we accept it too much in our society today. People are saying, oh, I heard. Some people say it's true. When you do that, to me, you lost all credibility. You don't know what you're talking about. And again, to suggest a leader, a men's basketball coach would not play somebody and make to the detriment of their team, make their team worse because you're hiding them to play somewhere else. It is from the galaxy of the colossally stupid to even suggest that that's a good question. So, Lindsay, I give you 2 thumbs down, and it's time to find another job. And there's another word I want to say, but I'm not going to say it.
All right. Do we have a phone call here? We don't have enough time. All right. Well, we don't have enough time. Sorry, Gary. Thank you for calling in. Maybe next time.
You like that, huh? The galaxy of the colossally stupid.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
that's pretty damn good.
That is from Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men talking to Demi Moore.
Well, that is our good, the bad, and the ugly, presented by Desert Sky Spine and Pain. Again, check them out at desertskymedicine.com.